Robert Kiyosaki, legendary author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and major Bitcoin investor who's worth over $100 million, just shared a shocking warning that will have a very positive impact on markets over the upcoming months and probably through the start of 2025 as we hit a global liquidity cycle. So in the video, we'll be covering how global liquidity cycles are closely tied to bull and bear markets, why the crypto markets are looking more bullish than ever in major metrics like this one right here from Benjamin Cowan, or this post right here, or even this total stablecoin supply that has now grown to an insane amount. We'll be sharing a quick update on Ripple versus the SEC in the settlement case. We'll be covering the upcoming Ripple Swell conference and some key speakers that could indicate what's in store for Ripple's future. And we'll even cover how to properly read the XRP chart using a MACD line with some slightly tweaked settings that will provide us a good read on the next major move for XRP in terms of price action. And as always, if you haven't already, head on down to the description and find the link for bullrunners.com to discover how to earn more crypto in less than 10 minutes with the #1 play to earn XRP game. Yes, you can put your XRP to work to not only reduce the volatility in your portfolio by earning crypto, but also to compound onto that XRP in the case that we experience a major bull move in the upcoming months through the end of the year. So you have nothing to lose and everything to gain by checking out that link. And if you're an XRP holder, I don't see any better opportunity for you right now. So again, bullrunners.com. And if you're feeling blessed and bullish, comment 777. And if you're going to be the richest person in your family tree, smash the subscribe button. Before we dive in, a quick reminder that the opinions in this video are for informational and educational purposes only and do not constitute financial, legal, or investment advice. All investments, including cryptos, carry risks and potential losses. Always do your own research and consult with a licensed financial advisor. We are not licensed financial advisors, and relying on our content for financial decisions is at your own risk. By watching this video, you agree we are not responsible for any losses or damages, and we do not guarantee any specific results or outcomes. Some of the links below may be affiliate links, and we may earn a commission, which actually helps support this channel and helps us to create value-based videos like this. We also hold some positions in the cryptocurrencies that we talk about, but that's only because we do what we believe in. However, this should not be interpreted as a recommendation for you to do the same. With that said, let's get into the video. Now, everyone knows who Robert Kiyosaki is, especially if you're in the entrepreneurial space. When you read his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I would argue it's probably one of the most sold books in the entire world of business and personal development. So he's a very well-known character. He has about $100 million net worth, about $1 billion of debt, but he uses that debt to consistently build his net worth and probably offset taxes and all sorts of other things. That said, he has a very high conviction in Bitcoin. And he even mentioned this: I love gold and silver. I own gold and silver mines. The problem with gold and silver is the higher the prices go, the more gold and silver is found. And that is actually the truth. And the reality is we don't know how much gold is still left in the earth or how much silver is. And at some point in time, it'll show up in a shipwreck, right? And that dilutes the value of current gold, even though, right, governments hold the majority of gold. No matter how high the price of Bitcoin goes, however, there will only ever be 21 million, and that is due to the blockchain and code, which is immutable. That's why I love Bitcoin. And in order to shut Bitcoin down, you would need to shut down the internet. So I don't want to give you a whole Michael Saylor rant here, but he just shared something that is completely shocking. And yes, he is a Bitcoin evangelist. So in this article from Finbold, Kiyosaki warns America goes into $1 trillion of debt every 100 days. And one may beg the question, well, how is that bullish at all for markets? Isn't debt bad? At the end of the day, this gentleman uses debt to grow his net worth. And I would argue you can probably do the same thing through global liquidity cycles. Now, let's just read what he actually shared. He says, how much is a trillion? A trillion seconds was 31,688 years ago. America goes into $1 trillion in debt every 100 days. Now, do you know why you must buy gold, silver, and Bitcoin. And arguably, he's talking about these because these assets consistently perform well when you have the debasement of currency. But in particular, he's even more so bullish on Bitcoin. And by that standard, right, if Bitcoin is typically going up, then so is the entire crypto world. That would include XRP, that would include Ethereum, that would include Solana, that would include all of your major caps and even altcoins, sometimes outperforming major caps, but then usually underperforming them in a bear. Now, he shared this information because a Bank of America analyst actually warned this early in March this year. So yes, the US is getting out of hand when it comes to debt, but in terms of the global liquidity cycle, it's actually very helpful for assets. If anyone remembers, during COVID in 2020, the government printed $6 trillion, which was by far the largest in history. And this started the bull run, right, from that V-shaped bottom through 2021. And then what happened was we started to see things turn over with high inflation in 2022 as Powell and the Fed responded by increasing interest rates. In other words, more money printing, more QE from the Fed equals more debt. And it's eventually going to come banging down the doors of many Americans and people worldwide. But until the piper has to be paid, typically what happens is markets really rally on global liquidity cycles. So in this post from Raoul Pal, you can see that in 2016 and at the bottom right there, when the global liquidity cycle, or global M2, which is the money supply, increased to the upside in terms of a deviation. And we're not going to go too in depth on this, but basically the higher it is from this zero line, you can see that the blue line follows in suit. And so this would be the crypto total market cap year over year percentage gains. In other words, we were over 2,000% when the global M2 money supply deviated to the upside of a major trend. On the flip side, when the market started tumbling in terms of its deviation, and it went to the downside of the zero line, right below the average trend, then what happened was at 2020, right, the markets also started to correct. And typically, the crypto market, being so volatile, actually corrects well before M2 money supply. Well, then again, M2 money supply started to increase through 2020, and as you can see here, crypto shortly followed thereafter. So yes, we've seen consistently lower gains from a crypto percentage, but either way, the trend seems to be true. Whenever global money supply increases, so do the percentage gains of major risk on asset classes like crypto. Now, in a more recent post from Thomas on Markets, he's basically stating that global liquidity, the 4-year cycle, is looking beautiful, and it is currently increasing. So here is the actual chart, and it almost rhymes in terms of cycles, right? You see this cyclical pattern where you have global M2 year over year change consistently increasing, and during these same increases, markets tend to increase. So we did see some major lows in 2022 into 2023, and now global monetary liquidity is starting to get on the rise again. And this is directly into an election cycle. So typically markets not only rally into an election, but in the case of interest rate cuts from the Fed, they also rally. So the markets are rallying on multiple factors, and that's because they are pricing in a rate cut and a potential bullish election outcome. But until those things actually happen, we're likely going to see the global money supply continue to increase, and with that increase, so will markets. Now let's dive into some key metrics and charts to explain why we're so bullish on the crypto market right now, even though things feel boring, price action has been stale, and things are getting old in terms of being a holder. Okay, one of the most important metrics, I believe, that shows or proves that Bitcoin is being adopted by institutional players at scale is the fact that not only we have the spot ETF and BlackRock's been buying, and we can prove that based on the blockchain analytics, so on and so forth, but the fact that when they do accumulate these things, as you know, and they toss it into, let's say, a Coinbase custodial wallet, what happens is they are withdrawing a major portion of supply, right, which removes supply. And so if demand even remains constant or the same, or starts to increase in the case of a bull move, then what happens is less supply, more demand, price go up. Okay, and so in this entire range since March 12th of 2024, it's almost like the price has been suppressed from a futures standpoint as the price has continued going down, and that would be in terms of the white line, whereas the blue line or this purple line indicates that Bitcoin has been removed en masse from exchanges through this entire range, which indicates that there are not only strong holders, but people are not likely going to be depositing back onto exchanges anytime soon in order to sell. So the simple act of removing Bitcoin from an exchange is an extremely bullish indicator. And yet again here, from August 24th till present day August 26th, we just saw a total of, let's see here, 40,000 Bitcoin left exchanges. That is an insane amount. That is another $2.8 billion of Bitcoin removed from exchanges in these prices. So yes, institutional players are going to create for an environment where there's less Bitcoin as more investors flock to buy Bitcoin. Now here we have a major comparison chart on the Bitcoin bottom to top cycles. Okay, so as you can see here in the green and in the orange, we had the last couple of cycles. This orange line would denote the 2017 to 2018 rally. The green line would indicate the 2020 to 2021 rally, and this pink line indicates our current rally. And so although they do deviate here and there, you can see that we are right on track in terms of this market cycle and through this summer lull as Bitcoin is being accumulated, which will create a positive environment or a bull market environment for virtually all other cryptos as it breaks out to new highs. And yes, that would include our beloved XRP. And here is another chart to indicate that from Marty Party. The Bitcoin TA has not changed. We are simply in a flag right here, and I would argue a bull flag into the election, and then sometime probably in October, as things usually happen, maybe even mid-September, which would indicate even more bullishness and more buy pressure sooner in the market in terms of what it typically trends into the election, and then we get that banana zone, as Raoul Pal calls it, right, which is really just a parabolic move and a blow off top to new all-time highs, and then the move is over as we see some distribution. And then finally, another major bullish piece of news in terms of the charts is a post from Peter Schroeder. Total stablecoin supply has grown to over 160 billion for the first time in 2+ years and is approaching all-time highs, which basically indicates that there is not only a lot of Bitcoin being removed from exchanges, not only are we in the proper range in terms of historical standards and what happens through the summer, but we even have more dry powder on the sidelines ready to invest into cryptos when they do start to break out. So more stable coins on the sidelines is actually a very positive indicator because that means people have cash to buy any dips or even any breakouts. Another awesome metric is that even though March we've seen cryptos consistently, lose steam, dump 60%, sometimes 90% if they're altcoins. We've seen Bitcoin struggle to break out to new highs as its range, same with XRP, right? Generally speaking, from crypto.com and the research arm, they've made a note that from March to June, we've seen consistently more global growth of crypto owners. And this is in terms of the millions. So more people are actually buying and holding crypto, even though they haven't really been doing much, which again creates for a very positive bullish environment in terms of demand as there is less supply available. Everything is just screaming bullish. And the final major interesting indicator that I've found in terms of sentiment would be from Alex Becker, who has a major YouTube channel for crypto and arguably someone that we really value, respect, admire on this channel. He basically states that YouTube is an amazing gauge for sentiment of the mainstream. It is a tier 10 bad. Views on YouTube wide are way down. And that would actually include with this channel as well. So if you're watching these videos right now, congrats for being here and seeing this information before the rest of everyone else enters and does. But into a major breakout or a new all-time high, you're going to start to see the views on all of these videos consistently growing. And then what's going to happen is we're going to peak off and we're going to have the majority of the most views we've ever had, right? And the same thing is going to happen across all YouTube channels that cover crypto. He's even making a mention or a note to the fact that comments comments are soggy, which basically means there's a lot of complainers in the comments. Normies can't picture crypto running in easy gains coming back. Any suggestion of up met with the top, the sideline pain will be audible soon. And we totally agree with this sentiment, as we've seen it on this channel too. So now the question becomes, what should you be doing? When should you be buying? Will Ripple not have an appeal? We'll cover that here shortly, but before we do, go to bullrunners.com and subscribe in order to learn how to earn more crypto in less than 10 minutes with the #1 play to earn XRP game. It doesn't matter if it's a bull market, bear market. We believe we're in a bull market, and we just showed you the metrics for it. But if for whatever reason the markets tank a little bit and we see some volatility before the major move up, this is a great way to not only reduce your volatility by putting that XRP to work, but also compounding or stacking onto that XRP bag. And you can do it in 3 very simple steps. This video explains exactly how this thing works, but all you do is get an XRP wallet, #1. 2, you get your rare game pieces. And then 3, you play the game, which takes about tops 10 minutes a day to earn your crypto, which is convertible directly for XRP. And yes, you can withdraw it for XRP. So it is wonderful. It's a cool opportunity. We love this entire platform and game. It's obviously going to have a few glitches and bugs, but we're definitely working those out. And we're more than excited to share it with you. We wouldn't be sharing it with you if unless we wanted to completely ruin our community and our reputation with you. So go to bullrunners.com, check it out. You have nothing to lose, everything to gain. Let's get back into the video. Now, a quick update on the SEC lawsuit. We know by now, right, or at least I hope you do, that we got a settlement judgment from Lisa Torres, the judge in the case between the SEC and Ripple, that stated they have to pay a fine, or I would argue it's a fine of $125 million. Now, this is a case where the SEC can still appeal by October 6th, so it's really important, right, that we don't just think it's all completely over just yet, as Ripple's chief legal officer Stuart Alderoty has raised concerns about the SEC's potentially irrational behavior regarding cryptocurrency cases. Pro-crypto lawyer Fred Rispoli suggests that there is a 50-50 chance of an appeal. In a recent X post, he questioned whether the SEC would have to compensate Ripple for the penalty of any financial damage caused to Ripple and its token XRP, considering XRP is not a security. He's basically stating that if Ripple wins on every issue over at the SEC, then aside from turning over the $125 million fee or penalty to Ripple, does the SEC have to pay statutory interest? And so that's a question that he's asking. We're not too sure yet. I don't believe that Ripple's going to win on everything, but I do believe that everyone involved, maybe aside from the SEC, wants this thing to be completely over and settled. It's just one of those things where Stuart is starting to see that the SEC is potentially being irrational, and even near to the end of the Biden administration's term in office, they are still pursuing legal actions against other cryptos as we speak. So right now we're just in limbo. We're waiting on whether or not there will be an appeal, but things are looking good and up for the whole crypto space and XRP, especially if we get a new incoming administration. In other news right here, we have the new Ripple Swell 2024, which will be happening in Miami, and it's going to feature Coinbase and other fintech leaders. Here is the video and Brad Garlinghouse sharing a bit about it, which is going to be on October 15th through the 16th, 2024. I'm pretty positive Nick is going to be there. I may be there. And in that case, would love to see anyone on the channel there as well, but let's just watch this video really quickly.
As the gateway between North and South America, Miami has always been a strategic hub for both continents. And it's definitely a city that's long been committed to innovation and development. That's why I'm very pleased to share that Ripple will be holding our 8th annual Swell conference in Miami. Ripple's focus as a company has always been global through our products around payments, custody, and tokenization, but also with Ripple Swell, from Toronto to London to Singapore, and most recently Dubai. That's why we're excited to bring our customers and partners, industry thought leaders, regulators and policymakers from around the world together in this special city. I hope to see you in Miami.
Now, I'm really interested in the lineup and who is going to be there and what this could potentially mean for a future for Ripple and XRP. So obviously you're going to have Brad Garlinghouse and the majority of the team. So if you've ever wanted to meet them, probably a great time to go check it out. But I'm going to share a few key players that I think are going to be pivotal for this entire conference and who they are and what they do. And then you yourself, if you want, you can go over to ripple.com and check out the actual Swell speaker list. So the first major person on the lineup is Shayla Baer, who's the former chair of the FDIC. Now, that is massive. They are the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. If you've ever heard FDIC insured, which is the majority of major banks, actually all major banks in the US are FDIC insured. And so this person potentially has access to all of the major players in all major banks all over the nation, and by default, probably the world through that. Then you have someone like Tim McCourt, the Senior Managing Director, Global Head of Equities, FX, and Alternative Products, which arguably is crypto, at the CME Group. Now, this is the new name to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, which, is it's the oldest exchange since 1848, which was made 176 years ago. So they are major players. When I read or study up on markets and major market movers over the 80s and 90s, the majority of them got their start at the CME. That said, the company also owns 27% of the S&P Dow Jones indices. So we have another major player that is going to be over at the Ripple Swell conference. Then we have a guy by the name of Mazen El-Jundi from the Global Business Head of Crypto, Wealth, Trading, and Expansion Markets over at Revolut. Now, Revolut might be a new name to you, right? However, he's worked alongside Revolut's global leadership team over the past years to help propel the company to its latest valuation of $45 billion this year in 2024. Very few companies get to that type of a valuation, so there's something to be said about a guy like this showing up to Ripple. And what's even crazier is that valuation is bigger than the entire market cap of Ripple itself. Or I should say XRP. And the list goes on. We have people from Bitwise, MoonPay, obviously Ripple, Crypto.com, Kraken, Bloomberg, Metropolitan Capital. I mean, the list goes on. So go ahead and go over to Ripple.com to check out the lineup of speakers and see what you can find. So yes, things are looking extremely bullish on the Ripple front and also in terms of the actual crypto space, with Bitcoin looking extra hot. That said, okay, here is the price action of XRP from our local lows at about 38 cents. Since that point in time, we failed to break above the 65-cent range and arguably hit that 75-cent range, which is our next major range of resistance. However, the price action of XRP is looking strong relative to the entire crypto market. So imagine this: if Bitcoin continues to look very strong, which it does, okay, and then breaks to new all-time highs, well, then XRP for the first time in a long time is actually outperforming Bitcoin. Let's prove it to you. From the local lows on the BOJ collapse, or actually I believe that happened here, but back here at the 38-cent range, okay, I'm going to pull up the charts of Bitcoin and Ethereum now. So first I'll pull up Bitcoin, okay, and Bitcoin is denoted by this green line. As you can see here, in the same period of time from that local low, XRP is up 44% while Bitcoin is only up 15%. And the weakest performer of these major three cryptos is actually Ethereum. Ethereum is down in that same time frame, 7.16%. So it's fairly certain to me in terms of the actual price action, because when I look at this thing, I say, okay, well, what's the strongest performer in a sideways moving market, right? And the reality is the price action is proving that it is XRP. So we are in a really good spot that if Bitcoin and crypto start to recover, XRP is actually going to now, for the first time in a long time, outperform. Now I'm going to share something really interesting with you that I am seeing on the MACD line. So if you go to TradingView or most any chart platform for that matter, and look up MACD. So you can literally type in MACD. Okay, from there you should see moving average convergence divergence, or the MACD. And that's what this thing looks like right here. As you can see, that MACD has been tightening in a range for quite a while. But what I'm going to do, okay, first is I'm going to get rid of that histogram just so we can see the slow moving and the fast moving average. The next thing I'm going to do is take the fast length and drop it to 10. I'm going to take the slow length, pump it up to 30. And what this is doing is giving me a fast range, and this fast range, typically what it is for me in terms of how I use it, is as a support. Okay, whenever the fast moving is trending up, that means that we have a short-term move. Okay, whenever the slow moving, the 30 period, is trending up, then that means we have good strong support. In other words, whenever this blue line crosses over the red line, or this orange line I should say, okay, that is very, very bullish. And as you can see here, it did happen multiple times where we did start to get some shakiness in the market right here on the MACD. Obviously, this was when the SEC lawsuit came into play, but I'll go ahead and zoom in on that. As you can see right around here, we'll go ahead and circle that. We had a crossover, and I will put a line right around there. Then again, we had another, and I'll go and take this tool, okay, drag, grab this circle, and as you can see, we had another crossover right around there, and we started trending up. In other words, I want this orange line to trend up. If I remove the blue line, is the orange line trending up? If the answer is yes, and the blue line is up above the orange line, then that is a good indicator that the price is going to go up. So from this point in time, did it? And from this point in time, did it? Let's find out. In this case, now look, here's what's really interesting, right? The orange line is trending down, and it's failing to really sustain any momentum. So this would indicate from these days, and I'll go ahead and take let's take a different colored line, okay, make it red, and this would indicate that the move is over. Let's see if that actually aligns pretty well. As you can see here, look, trend up, MACD slow moving is below the fast moving, but they're both trending up. In similar fashion, orange line trending down, blue line below. Well, guess what? The price continued to decline. And then since this point in time, up to this point in time, as you can see right here on the lawsuit, you know, that we had a clarity around Ripple or XRP not being a security, things started to trend down again. So in this range, now let's just focus on the current range. You can see that the line, the orange line, has been trending down on a 30. And guess what happened with the price? Trending down. Well, for the very first time, okay, as we are consistently trending up now from this local low, the orange line is officially trending to the upside and the blue line is above. So what I'm really waiting for, and yes, I'm not adding a ton to my bags here, but on the flip side, I would love to see a breakout, okay, because I'm already stacked. Like I'm stacked. I'm playing the crypto land game, okay, if you will. That said, right here, on a breakout, I would love to buy because this is going to confirm now that this is a legitimate move and the trend is up. But things are looking uber bullish now, and the MACD from the weekly time frame since this day is screaming buy. So whether you buy right now or buy on the breakout, I think this thing is ready to move up to that $2 range, and then we'll watch the price action from there and notify you guys on what we think as you stay in tune with the channel. And so the best way to stay in touch with the channel is to subscribe. Leave us a like. It helps the channel out. Let us know in the comments when you think the XRP price is going to break to new all-time highs. And as always, go to bullrunners.com because from there, when you subscribe, not only will you get consistent updates from us, but you'll also be able to discover how to earn more crypto in less than 10 minutes with the #1 play to earn XRP game. Doesn't matter if we start to break down from here. Doesn't matter if we break out. This is a great way to put your XRP to work if you're already an XRP maxi, if you will. Okay, if you are in the XRP army and you plan to hold or die, then this is a great way to compound on that bag by earning crypto. And it takes 10 minutes or less every single day. That's it. So go ahead and do that. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video, my friend. Goodbye.